name's Nev. I'm 16 and I race BMX. I started BMX during the summer of like 9th grade. My dad wanted to get us all out of the house, me and my siblings, because we just stayed home all the time. We never went outside. Eventually we got pretty into it. I went to state nationals down in California and I raced some of the nationals here. It was cool. Okay, I started using drugs when I was pretty little. My mom kept them around the house, so it was like easy access. It wasn't hard to get anything and no one was watching us, so no one really cared what we were doing. There was never an adult home. It was just me and my siblings, and we were all pretty little. So sometimes my mom would come in and out and she'd bring men in and they'd just sit on the couch and do drugs and we'd join them. I started drinking when I was really little, like 7, and then I started doing harder drugs, mostly meth, cocaine sometimes, and opioids. When I was on drugs, it felt like flying until you crashed. Once it started wearing off and you just felt bad. My childhood was pretty tough. I stopped living with my mom when I was like 6, and my aunt and uncle, they adopted me and my siblings. So at some point it was just like, this is all, it got really, I'm the middle child, so explaining what happened to my siblings started getting really tough, and it was really emotional, and I just wanted to stop feeling the emotions. So CPS was called quite a bit, and at some point she had stolen a car, and it happened to be in the driveway at the time when CPS came, and she was on a bunch of drugs, so they took us away, and she got sent to prison for a hot minute. So we were in foster care, and my aunt and uncle, they tried so hard to get us as quick as they could. It took a couple months, but eventually we went and lived with them. I call them my mom and my dad because that's really what they are to me. I was so young and they got me through a lot. So he had to quit work to take care of all of us because there's a lot of us. He does everything for us, really. He drives us around wherever we need to go. He takes us to all of our doctor's appointments. He drives us around to school, just whatever we need. When I overdosed during the summer, I started taking a lot of Xanax, and I didn't realize it was laced with fentanyl at the time. So I popped a couple pills. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just go to sleep. And at some point I didn't really wake up, and my little sister found me and she got really freaked out. And I ended up in the hospital and then over to the mental hospital for a hot minute. When my mom realized how big my drug problem was, after my OD, she tried to find me somewhere. She started taking me to a lot of AA meetings, a lot of NA meetings, and I didn't click with them at first because I didn't really get the purpose of it until I went to Mission. She found Mission because she actually applied to be the principal there. So she was like, hey, this is for you, and I said, okay. And I started going there, and they're really connected, so coming here is easy and it's fun. Well, that's where I got sober. I didn't quite like it in there at first, but it was really a break from reality to like just realize what I've been doing and how it's been messing me up. Oh, one of my favorite things at APG is the equine therapy. We get to go play with horses, and it's really cool to just be outside. We're not allowed to ride the horses, but we get to pet them, and they give us like brushes and like they give us brushes so we can brush the horses, and at some point we painted the horses, which was really cool. It was like Crayola paint, so it wasn't gonna harm them or anything, but it's fun. When I was using, I really thought that I was happy, but now that I'm not using and I can actually feel everything again, it's a whole different experience. Like, it's a more honest feeling. It's not created by drugs. My parents support me a lot, my sponsor, school, of course, and APG helps a lot. I get to come down here when I have nothing else to do. My hobbies, they really do help with recovery because it's honestly just a distraction, so when you're having a hard time, just doing the things you love, it's helpful. To stay sober, I go to school because that's where my motivation lies right now. It's my way to college, which I really want to be a forensic scientist, so that's what I'm going for. And just AA meetings, talking to my sponsor, whatever I need to get out, just talking about it. I really want to get into forensics because I watched a lot of like CSI with my grandma growing up. So it just looked really all of it looked really interesting to me. And then they brought out the guns and I was like, wow, that's cool. So forensic ballistics is where I really want to go, which is the study of the guns. Honestly, all I want to say is don't do drugs and be safe. My name's Nev, and I've been sober for 8 months.